AEW Fight Forever has been one of my most anticipated games pretty much ever since they said we're making an AEW game for consoles. But once they showed off some gameplay footage that was in development for this game, it became apparent what this game was. It was simply an homage to the classic wrestling games that many of us grew up playing. Games from the N64, the GameCube, and the PlayStation 2 era, some of the best wrestling video games of all time. Now, as time has gone on, wrestling games have gotten more and more complex. Really, when you look at the bigger budget titles, it's pretty much just the WWE 2K games, and those are fine for what they are, but I feel like they just become over convoluted. They always change up the control schemes. I always try to do some wild gimmicks and stuff like that with the actual controls. But when you look back at the N64, the GameCube, and the PS2 era, they had this pick up and play mentality that it was very simple to understand what you had to do, but it was hard to master. And it definitely seemed like that's what they were going for with AEW Fight Forever. Well, the game is of course coming out on June 29th to the PlayStation, the Xbox, Steam, and Nintendo Switch. We've got some first Nintendo Switch information for the version of AEW Fight Forever coming to the system, so I'm super excited to talk about that stuff, and I'm going to kind of just talk about all the stuff that's been happening recently with this game, because they actually held an event at their latest pay-per-view where they had some people from various websites and YouTube channels come in to check out the game and play it, and everything I've been seeing from this game, I instantly fall in love. If you've played an N64 or GameCube or a PlayStation 2 game like No Mercy or Day of Reckoning or SmackDown Here Comes the Pain, when you look at this game, you immediately get those same sort of feelings. Now, they haven't announced the full roster yet. There's still a lot of question marks going into it with that. This has been a game with obviously a smaller budget than something like a WWE game would have, so the roster might be a little bit outdated, I guess you would have to say, but most of the people that you want in this game are in this game. They've been doing different character profiles for different characters in the game. Eddie Kingston, the Young Bucks. Of course, there's been sort of information that's been given out there. We have Owen Hart as one of the legends in the game. So I think the roster is going to be very good. We'll talk a little bit more about the roster in just a moment. But the thing that's always sold me on this game has been the gameplay. Obviously, when you look at the graphics of it, it doesn't look like a big AAA game, but I think it's good enough, because graphics are not just still images. Graphics are animations as well. And when you play a lot of modern wrestling games, these animations that you get in them feel very canned. They feel very forced, and they feel like you're just sort of inputting buttons into a simulation style thing, more so than actually controlling the wrestlers themselves. When you look at the control scheme for this game, it's literally the same as it was for the N64 games, where you have a weak grapple, a strong grapple, a weak attack, and a strong attack. You could do various dives, go under the ring to get your weapons. Like, it's definitely throwing back to that time frame. Speaking of weapons, this game is extremely violent, and that makes me happy, because I feel like violence has been toned down in a lot of wrestling games. Even when you just look at the match types, you have your standard stuff, your one-on-one, your two-on-two, your ladder matches and stuff, but you also have the lights out matches, which are like unsanctioned AEW matches. You have an exploding barbed wire death match, because I mean, why not? And one of the things that's awesome about this is the wrestlers actually show visible damage. Like, it's not just a little bit of blood on the forehead. This is like gobs of blood coming from their body and their extremities and stuff like that. And while it's a bit, you know, sadistic to like stuff like that, I definitely like stuff like that. I think it's super awesome because it's a bit more of a realistic flair. Now, they have sort of shown off some of the shop modes. I'm going to be showing you guys gameplay footage from various YouTube channels on here who went to the event. I'll have links in the description box down below so you can check out all their videos in their entirety. But there's going to be like a standard shop, like you're accumulating money by playing the game, and you go into the shop and you can unlock different attires, you can unlock different moves for your creative character, because there is a creative character in the game. There's also a single player experience that's a story mode for the game, and I'm not expecting it to be super in-depth or anything like that, but I think it's awesome that they are including something like this. There's online play as well for up to 4 people, and there's even like these weird mini games that they incorporated it. Just thinking about this game though, I'm gonna be Sting. And I'm going to be Sting, and I'm going to win all the belts with Sting. And then for the tag belts, who are you going to win the tag belts with? Eddie Stingston, okay? Eddie Kingston and Sting. You got Owen Hart in there too. Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, of course. I think this game It's going to be super awesome. I really like what they're doing with this game. They've already started talking about DLC and stuff like that, which is yet another thing we'll get into in just a second. But just everything I'm seeing from this game looks like it's what I've wanted from a wrestling game for a very long time. You know, like I said, I've been a bit disappointed by the WWE games. Like they're cool, they're fine, but they just feel so similar year after year after year because they're making it a yearly thing. Whereas this game, I don't think is going to be like that. I think this is going to be sort of a long-term game where they're constantly adding in more content to it and keeping it alive for like a couple years instead of a couple months like you normally get with a lot of WWE games. And you can even ride a skateboard. Like, look at this skateboard. This skateboard is crazy. What is going on here, Darby Allin? I know you like to skate, bro, but in the ring? Like, that's crazy to me. But like I said, we have some Nintendo Switch related information to go over in this video as well. So the listing for this game actually finally went up on the Nintendo Switch's eShop page. So we're going to take a look at this. You can see here that the screenshots used are pretty much the same screenshots that they've been using for everything. So I'm not sure if this is necessarily like taken from a Nintendo Switch, but I do feel like this is indicative of the visual style that you should expect within the game. Like this game's not going to win any awards for graphics or anything like that, but it looks like good enough. You could see here we got Yuka Sakazuki, Thunder Rosa, Abaddon. The fire extinguisher effect is actually really cool. And some of the footage, I might have shown it to you guys. There's like flaming tables and you can actually put them out with the fire extinguisher mechanic. Now these are sort of older pictures that we have seen floating around for quite a while. The game is going to retail for $59.99. There's also a digital edition, which is the Fight Forever Elite Edition, which we'll talk about in just a moment here. And you can see there is basic information here. There's going to be over 50 wrestlers in the game, which great amount. Like that's a great variety of people. You have online co-op wrestling with tag team matches that feature sequences of tag team maneuvers with simple commands. More than 10 different game modes, including unsanctioned lights out and falls count anywhere, plus 40 weapons, deep customization, career mode, and mini games. So awesome stuff here. Now, if you pre-order the game, you actually get Matt Hardy as a playable character with 2 different attires. It's broken Matt Hardy and then the standard Matt Hardy. We also have file size information here. We could see that the game is 1 to 4 players on a single system, 1 to 4 players with online, so it'll have that local mode in it as well as the online stuff with it. Rated T for teen. I'm actually surprised with the amount of blood, and it's 11 gigabytes for the standard one. Now, if we look at the digital edition of the game with the Elite Edition, excuse me, you can see that this is on sale for a little bit less right now, and this is the stuff that you get with it. So you get the Matt Hardy pack, which has Matt Hardy and broken Matt Hardy, AEW Fight Forever FTR Revival pack, which has Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler, plus new mini games such as Join Us and Death Race X. The AEW Fight Forever Limitless Bunny Bundle, which has the Bunny and Keith Lee, plus mini games MJF's Car Thrash and Sloth Sling. That's tough to say. And you also get the AEW Fight Forever Hookhausen, very handsome, very evil pack, which has AEW wrestlers Hook and Danhausen. So obviously some people are going to be missing from this game. That's where Create a Wrestler comes in. Cause.ws is going to have to come back for this because obviously, you know, there's going to be call formulas, which are Create a Wrestler formulas. If you've played old wrestling games, you are well aware of Cause.ws, the SmackDown Hotel. And you can see that this is actually 13.7 gigabytes. So I'm not sure if this is including, because of the fact that you get the Matt Hardy stuff, I don't think he would be that big of a file size. So this might be how big everything is once you get all the stuff together. But yeah, I am beyond stoked for this game. Like, I have been waiting so long for this game. Am I going to be reviewing this game? Obviously. I'm actually in talks with THQ right now, trying to get a Switch review code and an Xbox code. Whatever I don't get, I want both versions of the game, just in case the Switch version stinks, because you have to keep that in the back of your mind. I don't think it will. I honestly do not think it will. There's a ton of people that work at AEW that I talk with that, you know, tell me, you know, don't worry about anything. But you always have to wonder because of the whole WWE 2K situation. But just in case the Switch version is an abomination, it can't be that bad. I will be picking up an Xbox version of the game, but I am trying to get the game early for you guys so that I can cover it, because this honestly, you know, Street Fighter 6, freaking awesome. I love the game. Go check out my video on it. Final Fantasy 16, can't wait. It's a game that I'm going to spend a lot of time with. But AEW Fight Forever is the game that I'm the most excited for because I'm a wrestling fan. And whenever a new wrestling game comes out, and by new, I mean a different wrestling game, I have to cover it. Look at all the wrestling games I've covered on this channel already. So let me know in the comments section down below what you think about AEW Fight Forever. Do you think it will live up to the expectations set by many people? Do you think it'll be a bit of a disappointment? How do you think the Switch version of the game is going to be? We now know the file size of it. I believe it's 18 gigs on other platforms as well, so it's not a huge sort of differentiating number between the Switch version and the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X version, so that should make you feel, honestly, a little bit better. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and share. Hit the bell notification as well if you enjoyed the stuff. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.